Hello, each of you beautiful colored crowns of the color, you different, unique people. My name is Myra, and I'm your host, and we are on the Power Within podcast. Today's topic, authenticity. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite topic by far. I cannot wait. Alrighty, everybody. So, I want to talk about some things because I think it's cool. First off, I had a friend listen to the podcast, and then he sent me an audiobook by Robin Sherman called The Power of Consistency. Holy cow. I gotta do a podcast just all about him. He is so authentic, and he just reminds me of my grandpa. I don't know why. And I saw this picture. It turns out he's some bald dude who probably has like a tattoo or something. He probably doesn't have a tattoo. I don't know why I said that. Anyways, but whenever I listened to the audiobook, I felt like I was talking to my grandpa. And like, you know, the grandpa who's just a little bit weird, a little bit wacky, but you love him because he's full of infinite knowledge. That's how I felt Robin Sherman was. He was just amazing. He had so many attributes in this audiobook of stuff that I really like. Things about being yourself, about not listening to others' critiques or like criticism, about how to just really live life and find that power. And he did it through consistency, which I'm sure we'll talk about, sometime. But I just loved him. That was really cool. So right now, my beautiful roommate is making a cake for her birthday. She's having a Pride and Prejudice birthday party tonight, and I know, I'm not recording this on Sunday, but I am posting it on Sunday, just so you know. We keep each other accountable. Boom, boom, shh. I just I keep acting and moving around while I'm talking and realize you guys can't see me. Anyways, so she's making a cake and she talked about something about lavender milk. Guys, I'm not a baker. I have no idea what lavender milk is, but she uses it and I'm actually really proud of her. She is so good at baking and I'm so grateful that she's so willing to just be herself. And I love her authenticity with it. And I love that she just is like, oh yeah, I'll bake a cake and it has lavender milk in it. And I'm like, do you eat lavender milk with Cocoa Puffs or I don't even know. It's just something that I found crazy. So, when I was starting to think about my topics for this podcast, because I have a million. I have 15 different topics, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much we can talk about when we are unleashing the power within you. But as I started talking about them, this is going to sound so cliche, but it kind of starts with you, which is why we're starting with authenticity. If you are not authentic and you are not being yourself, how in the world can you unleash the power within you? It's the power within you, not the power within your friend or the power within your neighbor or whatnot. It's the power within you. So let's find the power within you. Oh my gosh. How many of us go through life and we just have such a hard time being authentic? You know what I mean? How many of us just think we're weird, and because we think we're weird, man, I am saying a lot. I heard someone else say and now I'm self-conscious about it. Anyways, how often do we just think that we have to be, like someone else in order to be popular and be loved? I mean, I do it. I like to think of myself as a very authentic person, and I try to be as authentic as possible. But if you put me in a situation where I need to be liked, or where myself isn't necessarily accepted, you'll see me start to change because I want to fit in just as much as anybody else does. But I also really, really love authenticity. And you know why I love that? Because each person in the entire world has gifts and talents that are given to just them. You have it. Repeat that. Robin Sherman repeats things all the time, and I'm repeating this right now. You have gifts and talents that are given to you to influence the world. And you can influence the world by using your talents, not your friends' talents, but you who are listening to this podcast. You have the power to change the world, but only if you embrace your authenticity. Each person is like a library, okay? when you walk through a library, there's a million different books with so many different stories. And I feel like that's my favorite thing about people. When I go to a party, for example, each person has suddenly become a book where I just want to read their story. I want to read their highs. I want to read their lows. I want them to tell me everything about themselves, their likes or dislikes or good things or bad things. Some people, like me, are very much people person. They're bubbly. They're the life of the party. They need to be high energy. They are just very, very, I don't know. I've been told I have golden retriever energy. It's actually, okay, side tangent. I have this dog. I guess I can name dogs' names on here, can I? Whatever. So I have this dog, and he's actually my friend's dog, but I walk him all the time. And it's actually really funny because whenever the doorbell rings, he like jumps up and goes to the door. And I do the same thing. So like, I guess I'm no better than a dog. But we love dogs because dogs are literally just themselves, right? Like, they lick their own behinds, for heaven's sakes. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. Where was I at again? So I have very high retriever energy. And after I have the high golden retriever energy, that's just me. But other people might not. Some people are more reserved and more quiet, but they are really good at listening. And they're really good at managing things and problem solving. Other people are really good at art. Other people may be very educational driven, or some people might just be business majors and really good at arguing, which I think is a talent. I'm not that great at arguing. So people who are, I actually applaud them, because if I need someone to argue my case, #get a lawyer. Anyway, but those lawyers don't get anywhere by just hiding, They get places by being themselves. And I don't want to I feel like there might be some of you, and I've done this too, where you just stay in your room and you don't get out. Probably because you're going through something, or it's just more comfortable in your room. But I really invite you to step out a little bit. Step out and don't be afraid to be yourself. And part of being authentic isn't just, it isn't just the good parts about you. Let me list some things that are not so good about me. I am very, very bossy, and I love being in control. I guess some people could say that I'm a bit of a control freak. Actually, I think I put that on myself. But the point is, I love controlling situations, and I am bossy. And you can dress that up however you want to, but that's an attribute. Is it a good attribute? I don't know. I also have a tendency to be extremely hyper, to the point where sometimes I can't even sit down. Is that a good attribute? But what good does it do to hide it? I tried to hide my hyperness all the time when I was a kid, and all it did was make me more hyper. But see, those are some things about myself that I could work on. Those are weaknesses. When you take your strengths and your weaknesses and you add them together, that creates who you are. And it's not bad to have weaknesses. It doesn't mean you're bad. It just means that's who you are. Oh, I feel like I'm a broken record. Let me just explain it with a story. Growing up, I learned that there are people who are cool and people who are not. And I didn't really like it. I really didn't. I remember talking to people, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like the idea that there were cool people and not cool people. Honestly, probably because I was part of the not cool people crowd. But it would bother me. Because why did it matter? Couldn't we just love each other no matter what? I know that sounds so cliche, but why did it matter if you were cool or not cool? Really, why? Why couldn't I just be myself? So this one time when I was a wee little baby, actually, fast forward a couple years, I was probably about 7 or 8. I feel like I need to talk in grandma voice. When I was 7 years old. Anyway, growing up, I went to a, what's it called? Oh, I went to school. I went to elementary school. I was in about 4th grade or 5th grade or whatever. And I was with these friends. And these friends, they were weird. And I don't know if they'll ever listen to this podcast, and hopefully they don't think that I'm being mean to them, but they took pride in themselves with being weird. In fact, their dad had this weird punishment. They said that if you ever said the word normal in the house, you had to kiss an onion. Now, I've never kissed an onion. I kind of want to. But, I don't know, it was weird. I remember going to their house, before school. I had to get there a little bit early, and they were just finishing breakfast. And guess what they were eating? Lasagna. Last night's dinner. Or they'd make themselves a cheese quesadilla. Meanwhile, I had just eaten a bowl of Cocoa Puffs. Like, who does that? I don't know, I thought that was so weird. They also had a green car named Larry. They named him Larry the Cucumber after the VeggieTales movie. They also had a large white van, like a kidnapper van, except they weren't creepy because they had 10 children. Nope, I lied. They only had 7. But their large white van had 10 seats, and there were 7 kids in this family. They were the smallest group of their entire extended family, too. Like, this whole family they were crashing all the social stereotypes. I remember one day specifically, we were walking to school, and I think one of their sisters or someone had come home from Boy Scouts, because once you turned 14, you could go and be a Boy Scout counselor, and it was kind of like a tradition in their family. And we started singing this Boy Scout song. It was loud and annoying. It had something to do with pirates. I don't know. I would sing it to you if I knew it, but I don't, so I'm not gonna. Anyways, so they would come home with the weirdest songs, but they taught me the song, and we sang it all the way to school, and then when we got to school, we were on the playground singing it at the top of our lungs, and we were having such a good time. We were singing, we were laughing, we were just out there, and I remember looking around and realizing that we were not, like, no one else was on the playground. Everyone was just off the playground, and I just realized that we were the joke of this, hold on, what am I trying to say? We were weird, right? I was already the joke of the school, so I kept singing it. It was like, whatever. But I remember standing out and being different and realizing that this family didn't follow the social norms. I remember going home and just going through my everyday life, and people would tell me how weird this family was, or how awkward they were, or how, not even awkward, just weird, just different. And they would tell me about that, and that it just more emphasized the point that this family did not follow the social norms at all. And I think that was okay. I was so envious of them. Every Sunday, they had Christian music playing through their house. They didn't watch TV. They just spent the whole day playing games, working on, personal progress and just goals that they had and stuff. And that's some of the stuff that I really like to do. But when you walked into their house, you could just feel the unity and love. And it was this idea that we didn't care who you were or how you acted or how you behaved. You were a part of us. You just walked in and you felt that love. At Christmas, they had their own tradition. It was called St. Nicholas Day. And they would take their shoes and put it outside their door. I'm sure they're not the only family that does that. But I thought it was so cool because my family didn't do that. They also, on Valentine's Day, they made makeshift mailboxes and put them outside each other's rooms and then put little Valentine's gifts in there for their siblings. Or like little mails boxes and stuff. It was so much fun. We would play downstairs in their like little basement area, and they had like an old sewing machine from like the 1950s, but like it was so fun, just a good time. And I don't know, other people would call them weird, but I couldn't help but think that this weird family was doing life right. They were being authentic. And I really, really just want to be like them. But I didn't know how. Authenticity is an incredible superpower. We all crave authenticity. Guys, I want you to take a moment and think about your life. Think about the people in your life. Who are the people that you go to when you need help? Who are the people that you go to when you want to feel like yourself? Who are the people that you can tell absolutely anything to and they love it and it's okay? Do you got your person? Is that person weird? I can think of one person in my brain right now that has meant so much to me. And they're weird in their own way, but they're authentic. We crave authenticity. We love being around people who are authentic because it allows us to also be authentic. Here's the thing. What qualifies as weird? Like seriously, think about it. Who's cool or what's not cool? Who determines what's weird or not weird? Who determines that? Who? Society. And we want to fit into society. Now, before you go off and saying, "Oh, Myra, that's so bad, I don't want to fit into society," here's why all that happens. Back, all the way, a long time ago, in, where the Croods were, the Crude movie, right? With all the cavemen. We need to stay with the flock. We need to stay with the group. And if we didn't, we'd get kicked out. And if we got kicked out, we could die. And physically, we could die. And it was very dangerous. And it was very hard. And it was very much like, what do we do? How are we supposed to do things? Sorry, that was just my mouse. I just want to move it. So we would do that, right? In the back nowadays, instead of being kicked out from the group and dying physically, we die socially. And we're afraid of that. We're afraid of dying socially. And it's a fear that was built into us, but it's a fear that we can overcome. Let me list some weird things that I personally do. I talk to people on the street who I don't know. Okay, not everybody. Some of them are kind of creepy, and I stay away from them. But for the most part, I don't mind talking to random people. To me, it's very comfortable. But isn't that weird? Singing whenever I see fit. Dude, there have been so many times where I've just broken out in the middle of Walmart in song and dance just because I could. It's so much fun. Smiling for no reason, just because you're happy. How many times do you go throughout the day and you look at everybody and really look at them, and how many of them are? I'm willing to bet not as much as we want. Because apparently it's cool to be frowning. You gotta give your cool face. This is me making my cool face. Picture it. Cool face. Watching anime instead of the new CSI season or whatever show is popular that day. You know what I mean? And some people like anime. Sometimes a certain crowd, it's cool to watch anime, but in another crowd it's not. But who cares? Just throw it all away. Who cares what's popular and what's not, or what's cool and what's not? If you are yourself, you'll have people flock to you who are also like you. Birds of a feather flock together, right? I have a friend. Oh, is it this friend? No. What was I saying? Yeah, sorry guys. Sometimes my brain does that. I think I have dementia or something, I swear. But it's all based on perspective, okay? It's all based on this idea that we have to behave a certain way to be liked. This family that I knew, they weren't they had friends. They had good people in their life who loved them for them. And they were good friends too. And I thought that was just really cool. I was trying to find friends by changing who I was. Just a small tangent. In elementary school, I tried to change myself so many times to fit in. I tried to hide my hyperness. I tried to hide who I was. And because I did that, it brought a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, and a lot of self-loathing. Don't be like that, guys. It's okay. You can be weird. You can be authentic. That's how you're supposed to be. And the people who actually matter, those are the people that are going to stick with you. Okay? I don't know how your friends are right now, and this is not a podcast of shaming, but I want to address something. If you can't be yourself around your friends, are they really your friends? If you have to act a certain way in order for them to like you, do they actually like you? The answer is no. I'm just going to give you that one right now. When you are authentic, people who are like you come closer to you and you find real true friends. I am a very social creature. And I've had millions upon millions of friends from when I was a kid all the way up till now. And some have stayed, some have gone. I'll have another podcast about that later. But the point is that the friends who I felt most close with were the friends who accepted me for who I was. Remember how I said I was really hyper? If I was around people who I knew would accept me for whatever I wanted to, I always became more hyper in front of them and showed them my true self. Because we want to be seen for who we are. Think about it. If you go deep, deep in your heart, don't you want to be seen for who you are? Don't you want to be accepted for who you are? We all want to be accepted. Because when we're accepted, we become part of this group, part of this caveman social group. And we want that, I want that. But first we have to accept ourselves. We have to accept our authenticity. And we have to step out and show people who we are. If we don't show people who we are, how do we give them the opportunity to accept us? There are always going to be people who make fun of you for how you act or how you look or how you behave. There's always going to be opposition. Don't listen to them. Who cares what they think? People who call me out on my weirdness, or who say that I'm weird, or who don't like being around me because I'm doing something weird, I tell them to buzz off. Because I don't need that negativity in my life. The people who are in my life, the friends who are in my life, are the people who accept me for me. I have this other friend who, she has a tendency to be very bold and very blunt and sometimes negative. But I kind of love it. I actually really love it because she shows us who she is and she doesn't hide. And with me being as bubbly and sporadic as I am, I'm not very blunt. I can be, but I tend to be very bubbly and happy and try to keep the peace rather than be blunt. But when she gets blunt and sarcastic, you know how many people laugh with her? Oh my gosh, we think it's hilarious and we just love it. Don't you want to be loved? Don't you want to be appreciated for who you are? Of course you do. I feel like I've been saying that a lot, and we're starting to run out of time, but there's a reason why you were born the way you are. I am a God-loving woman, and I believe that God put talents and abilities in each of us that matter, and that represent who we are. And He gave them to us for a reason. Your strengths, your weaknesses, they were given to you so that you can learn and grow. And just being who you are, do you know how much you can change the world? I know I want to change the world. And I found a way to do it. I'm really good at talking, so I started this podcast. That's something so authentic of me. I took a talent that I had and I used it for good. But what if I listened to all those critics who were like, oh my gosh, Myra, you talk way too much. Could you stop talking? Or man, this girl just doesn't shut up. Or, wow, could you let me talk for a second? You know how many people have gone on me about talking so much? I have my insecure moments. I don't want to discredit that. I am very passionate about authenticity. But like I said before at the beginning of the podcast, if you put me in a situation where I'm in a very vulnerable state, I can be whoever you want me to be instead of being who I'm supposed to be. Oh, Brene Brown, man. That's a Brene Brown, I just related to that so much. I love Brene Brown. My personal favorite part of people is seeing who they truly are. It's like reading a book. It's about learning who they are, the raw versions of themselves instead of them being cooked how society wants them to be. It's kind of nice. It's kind of incredible. Think about it like a crayon box. You probably have heard of this analogy before. But if all the crayons in a crayon box were the color red, then it would be boring. You wouldn't be able to color the clouds versus the sun. Or if they were all orange, you wouldn't be able to, make oranges, right? Or let's say the color black or the color white was never in the crayon box. You couldn't make, the outline of houses or clouds or a white cat in a snowstorm. You are a specific color. You are a crayon. Yeah. And the picture you're coloring, the world, needs your color in it. If we were all authentic and we were all ourselves, can you imagine how much fun that would be? I think it would be fantastic. I just want to emphasize again how much joy I find in authenticity. Being yourself will bring you closer to people who like you for you. It will make you happier. It will give you a more fulfilled life. It will make you feel incredible. And that's just, once you're able to feel loved and accept who you are, then you can pass that emotion to others who need it. And then, after you do that, you're one step closer to a better world. Oh, man. Thanks for tuning in. Man, I really love this topic, and we are about out of time. But I cannot stress how much I need you to wear yourself, wear your personality, and wear it proudly. And I actually have a challenge for you today to get you started. Just a little baby step. I'm still working on this podcast. I'm still trying to earn out things, and I think I want to set a goal for each of you at the end of the podcast, an action, if you will. What I want you to do is go home and write in your journal. And I want you to write a scenario of who you wish you could be. Don't worry about money. Don't worry about friends. Don't worry about the actual situation. Don't even worry about being realistic. Be as imaginative as you can be about who you would actually wish you could be. And then list attributes of that person and see how many you actually have. Just do that. And then be that person. Find ways to be that person. But start with that, and then let me know how it goes. We'll see if other goals become better or worse. Anyways, I'm going to put links in the comments, or figure out how to do that at least, from other people. Like there's this book called The Power of Being You. There's Robin. Oh my gosh, I forgot his name. I'm just going to call him Robin. There's Robin's book. And I'll put those in the podcast just so you can get some more ideas about how to be authentic and what it means to be you. Because there is so much more to cover than I can cover in 30 minutes. But, thanks for tuning in. There's something really awesome about getting friends who love who you are and feeling a part of something. And it all starts with being yourself and loving yourself. And guess what? That's what our next podcast is on. Loving yourself. And I'll be posted next Sunday. Stay tuned for that. We love others all the time. And we are so good at cheering on others. But how often do we cheer ourselves on? I'm not talking about being prideful or selfish or, anything like that. But how often do we treat ourselves? What do we say to ourselves? What are we talking about in our brain? And how much power can we get when we actually love ourselves? And not only that, once you love yourselves, think about how much love you can pass on to others. Anyways, check out that next episode coming out next week. Trust God, trust others, and most importantly, trust yourself. Have a wonderful day, my little honey bunches of oats / colorful crayons. And love long, live prosper. Man, I trust God, trust others, and trust yourself. Love ya. Bye.